All right. Welcome to Tales from Cape Bretoners. I'm Carla.
And I'm Preston.
And we're glad to have you back tonight. We've been busy lately, but we're trying to get it all done as best we can. And tonight we're going to bring you some ghost stories. Some good old, thrilling stories, suspense.
Not
necessarily ghost stories.
Just stories.
Mm-hmm.
Stories in general, and
scary stories.
Yeah.
Kind of scary.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
anyways, we thought we'd tell you a few good ones tonight, and
I would like to start off one.
Absolutely, you have at it.
And I would like to ask you, because I know you were there that day.
Okay.
How about the Fantasyland disaster back in the 80s?
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's about as scary as it freaking gets.
This is fucking crazy.
Yeah, it is.
So, share, because I know you were there that day.
Yeah, so, I can't remember, it was 85. I think it was 85. 86, somewhere in there. And West Edmonton Mall, biggest mall in the world, right?
Do you want to find out that year?
Yeah, I think it was 85.
85 or 84?
84, 85, 86, somewhere. 85, I think.
What year was the Fantasyland roller coaster disaster?
Yeah, it was 1984 or 85. I think maybe it was about 15.
1986.
86, there you go.
So that was the year we moved to...
Yeah, so I was 16, yeah. So anyways, West Edmonton Mall, for you as don't know, especially back then, was the biggest mall in the world. I don't know if it's still the biggest mall in the world, but...
Oh, no, not even close.
So, but it was back then, right? So it's got a water park, it's got submarines and water features with like a dolphin show, and then it's got a Fantasyland with a roller coaster. And it's got like the swings and the boat, and it's got all this stuff going on.
So a lot of water park and everything. Well, it still does water park and everything. It has
it has all. It still has the roller coaster. Actually, I mean, it got revamped.
Things there.
Yeah, it's got the roller coaster got revamped, and it's got the Drop of Doom, and it's got So I mean, it's a theme park, is what it is. So, anyways, so back in '86. Me and a bunch of friends, we got tickets to go to Fantasyland because there was a group called Chalk Circle playing in what they used to, it was called the Cage. So essentially in the center of Fantasyland, they had this stage that was caged in.
Yeah.
Right? So basically people couldn't get at the people playing on stage because they had... Chalk Circle wasn't famous, but they weren't nobody either, right?
Yeah, I hear what you're throwing down.
Yeah. So anybody.
You might have had 2 hits.
Yeah, that's right. They might have had 2 hits, but they had one really good one. I can't remember the name of it now, but it was good. Anyways, they were a good band. They were a good band, but they only had one hit that I can, and I can't remember the name of the song now. But nonetheless.
So it wasn't like the Kings, where
you
went and waited all night to hear the one song.
Exactly. Pretty much. That's pretty much the deal. So, anyways, but we're at Fantasyland and we're there for the show, so we're allowed to take the rides and all that stuff. So, a friend of mine worked for Fantasyland, and she was operating the roller coaster. So we went like 3 times in a row, boom, 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 because she just kind of let us, recycle, keep going. And then the show was starting, so off we go, and the cage is only like 100 feet from the roller coaster. It's not that far, right? And so where we were, a portion of the cage, we were kind of along the rail where our friend Lori is. She operates the roller coaster. Like, she's got all the operational machinery there, and we can look down and go, hey, blah, 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 talk back and forth and whatever. So anyways, so the band starts and everybody's getting into it and everything's going well, and all of a sudden you just hear these screams. Yeah. And I mean blood-curdling screams. Like, it just unlike anything I've ever heard in my entire life. And we realized the screams were coming from above, not from below, not from the floor we're on. They're coming from above.
Yeah.
And as we look up, the wheels on the last car of the roller coaster has come off. and it's smashing between the pillars,
Oh, fuck.
right? And so, as it's smashing between the pillars, a guy gets tossed out into the crowd. Like, flies way overhead into the crowd, falls to the floor, because everybody just kind of dispersed and went like, what? And he's the one that survived. And he shattered both his legs.
Yeah.
Right? And the other person in that bucket, which I believe was his fiance, got decapitated, like right across here, and there was a walkway that goes to an exit between the loops, and she landed right on that walkway, and just it was so disgusting. I mean, like, just so gross.
That's terrible.
So gross. And then our friend Lori hit the emergency stop button, which that's what she was trained to do. She did what she was supposed to do, and she did everything right according to how she was trained.
Yeah, she can't help when
She
the fucking
can't help
thing
when it
falls.
stops. So when it stopped at the top of the loop.
Yeah.
And because you only had your little waist things.
And they should normally stay locked in too.
That's right,
The
but
whole
they're
people
still
in.
not. They weren't tight. Now they're tight and whatever, but
Yeah.
then they weren't. They were just like you were locked like this. And there was a small woman that literally fell out from the top down to the concrete at the bottom of the roller coaster ride. Period.
Yeah.
And she died, right? And I mean, people are screaming, freaking out. This poor band is fucking locked in a cage. Okay,
Yeah.
like, I'm serious, locked in a cage. They can't get out. They're freaking out, losing their fucking mind. Like, what the, like, we can't, they could not get out of there. They're stuck in there. Nobody's coming to get them out. People are running, screaming, losing their shit. Our friend who's operating the machine is just fucking in shock.
Just losing it. Yeah.
Yeah, she's in shock. She lost it later, but at the moment she was just in shock. And we're trying to talk to her like, it's okay, you're okay, it's okay, you're gonna be okay. And within about, I'll say 5 minutes, all emergency services showed up. Police, fire trucks, because the fire department had to get ladders to go up and bring the people down.
Yeah.
They had to take them down, and you couldn't get a truck in there. They had to figure out how the hell they were going to get all these people down while they were escorting everybody out, right?
What a fucking sin, eh?
So police...
Tragedy. It's unfortunate.
Oh, it was a horrific tragedy. You have ambulance dealing with Buddy, and they saved his life, and thank God he's alive to talk about it today. I mean, poor Buddy lost his fiance. It was
devastating for a guy like
totally.
Fuck, imagine everybody
Lost his
on
whole
that
life.
boat ride.
Lost his
Imagine
whole
the
life.
fucking people suffering from PTSD. You know?
Oh, now, yeah, oh yeah,
Fucking,
no,
going
yeah, for
through
sure.
that ride, and they're thinking they don't know if that fucking they're going to be
Yeah.
the next cart going off the fucking
Oh yeah,
track,
no,
you know?
no, it was
Because
horrifying.
malfunctions happen on them things all the time, right?
Yeah,
Clearly,
well-
that was a big one.
Yeah. Well, now what they do is they all roller coasters now have to have a wrap. So if they come off the track, they can't come off the track,
Yeah.
right? But at that time, that just wasn't the case. That wasn't what it was, and it was really a maintenance issue. And even the maintenance guys said that they were having problems, and they basically said, "Keep it going." And so it is what it is, right? Allegedly. I'm going to say allegedly because
Yeah.
I don't want the Gramesians suing me.
Yeah, well,
God forbid the Gramesians sue me. So, anyways, you know, honestly, one of the most traumatizing things I've ever seen. And honestly, to this day, I've never really been back to like a theme park
Yeah.
where there's roller coasters and that. Like, I'll go to a little carnival where you got the teacups and stuff. I'll go to one of those, but I've never ever been back. Like, I never went to Wonderland in Ontario.
Yeah.
How many times friends are like, "Come on, let's go to Wonderland.
See,
There's a concert," and I'm like, "No."
I used to love the rides at
Yeah.
Wonderland.
Yeah.
All the crazy fucking roller coasters they
Yeah.
got there, like the Bat
Yeah,
and the fucking
Yeah.
Line Buster. Like
Yeah.
that one there.
yeah,
That one there is the creepiest ride there, man.
Yeah.
'Cause you're going on it. It's so fucking old looking,
Yeah.
right? It's like,
Yeah.
and fucking creaking and cracking
Yeah.
and fucking, you're like, holy shit, man. It looks
yeah.
like
No,
something on
I'd
the
be
Scooby-Doo fucking
terrified.
show.
I'd get off and I'd have to have somebody give me like a shot of morphine just to bring me back from
Oh, yeah.
whatever terrifying
Well,
situation's going on in my
I
head.
just wanted to, I
But-
thought that was kind of cool when we'll start off eating them.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's not, and it's something I don't think about very often, as you can well imagine why I wouldn't want to think
And
about it.
now that's why I
Because there
wanted to
wasn't a
bring it up.
lot, there wasn't a lot of people there, and it was what was really bizarre about that situation was we got escorted out by the police, took our names, phone numbers, because we were witnesses to what happened, of course.
Yeah.
Took our information and all that good stuff, and the poor band, just so you know, the band was in that cage for probably a good hour and a half before they finally got let out.
Wow.
And I felt bad for them, man, because they were losing their shit, and because of the police trying to evacuate and all this other stuff, they're like, "You're safe, you stay where you're at." You know what I mean? Like, so they were kind of the last to be
100%.
escorted out, right? And so the police is thinking is like, first we got to get rid of these crowds so people aren't trampling each other, and and they're trying to mitigate and narrate the story too, like they're trying to keep a bit of a lid on what has just happened, because they don't really know what just happened, and they don't want everybody out, shooting their mouth off about what just happened, right?
They got to investigate it, right?
Yeah, exactly, right? So
clearly it was a
but I
malfunction.
remember going home and telling my mom and family what had happened, and they're like, "Oh, no, that didn't happen." Like, I'm telling you something, this just happened. Like, we were just there. And then they saw it on the news that night. It was on the news, but I'm pretty sure if it was on the news for 2 or 3 days, that was something. I think it only got covered once or twice, and then the Gramesians kiboshed the media coverage on it, whether they allegedly paid them off or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, the coverage was really low for what had just happened. Like, you weren't getting, a week's worth of, this is what they think, and you didn't get a month later, here's what the investigation showed what happened. Nobody ever talked about what happened in the investigation, or what the police found, or who was found, if there was anybody found negligent. And it was a horrifying thing.
Well, needless to say, shit goes wrong sometimes, and when you got those kind of rides,
And my friend Lori was 17 years old, and she was operating.
What she suffered.
Yeah, well, she committed suicide at 24. So that goes to show you, she just could never get over it. She just never managed to deal with it. Yeah.
No shit.
And we tell her, like, you know, like,
couldn't do nothing.
Yeah, and there was nothing to be done. You did what you were trained to do, and the fact that it just didn't work out the way anybody thought it would is not your fault. Like, you're 17, you're not an engineer, you're not you're a 17-year-old kid pushing a few freaking buttons.
Yeah.
It's out of your control, and she just could never.
Shit happens quick.
Yeah, she could just never deal with it. So it was sad. It was sad in a lot of ways, but man, scary things happen just like that.
That's it. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like,
and the reality was, we were on that frickin' roller coaster.
Yeah.
The very ride before it happened.
Oh, that's what I mean.
That's, to me, was more scary. No, it wasn't more, but it was just as freaking scary.
I don't think
it's
that
not.
roller coaster's there.
Well, the roller coaster is, but it's not the same cart. It's not the.
Is
Now it wraps right around the track.
Is he sure?
I'm 100% positive it's still there. No, it's still there.
You know what they
changed it.
You know what they should have there? A little memorial is what they should have.
Well, they should.
That might be something that would have
been
shown
nice.
a little bit of fucking
A little respect. Yeah, a little respect.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what
But they didn't want to admit it happened. So I mean,
it still happened. You can
roller
deny it all
coaster-
you want, but I imagine they still had to pay out for.
They
you know what I
paid. They
mean?
definitely paid out to shut people up because, like I said, it's not something you heard about after it happened, and unless you Google it, I think they just did the 25th anniversary there a couple of years ago.
25th.
Yeah, 25th anniversary. Because we're in 24. So
it's older than
26 will be 30 years. 40 years.
Yeah.
So it must have been the 35th
'cause
anniversary.
It's the 80s, Carla.
Yeah, so it must have been the 35th anniversary. Yeah, so there you go. We were in Edmonton when they did the 35th anniversary and interviewed Buddy that has legs shattered. They interviewed him, and he lives in Calgary now. And he's still, still a traumatized man to this day.
No fucking doubt, man.
Yeah.
No fucking doubt.
Mm-hmm.
You know. It's almost like.
Still, he lost the love of his life. Didn't get remarried.
Yeah.
Or didn't get married, or so. But anyways, respect to him. I mean, Buddy, survived it, which was amazing in itself, and respect to him, and anyways, man, shit can happen in a second. I'm gonna tell people, like, I've had some scary things happen to me in my life, and that's definitely one of them. So.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never ever did talk about that,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we just did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right, so that was a good one to start with.
Yeah.
So, those are things that, are pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
Uncontrollable, out of our control,
Yeah.
just things happen sometimes, right?
Well, it's funny, that we all have those little voices, right? Like, we all have little voices that tell you, don't get on that, don't go on there, don't
you have
do
a bad
this.
feeling today.
Yeah. Don't get on that plane, don't get on that train, don't get on the boat, don't get on the skidoo, don't. And it's funny how often we don't listen to those voices.
Yeah.
And we should, because it's the universe telling us, hey,
Yeah.
it's not your time,
There's
it's
always
not
a
ready.
reason, right?
Yeah.
I always believe that.
Mm.
If something deters you, there's a damn good
Yeah.
reason for it.
Yeah.
And it could be just missing an accident.
And there's so
I'll
many
tell you,
times in my life
I've been there if
yeah.
I had left the 7 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
And I would have been in collisions.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then you're
100%.
like, what the fuck? I just missed that.
100%.
I just missed that. Like on the
Yeah.
401, right?
Yeah.
Shit happens in a
Mhm.
fucking instant
Mhm.
when we were in Ontario.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I like to fucking drive.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So
I'm doing
like
buck
fucking
40,
all
buck
over,
60,
right?
buck
Fucking-
80.
Oh
yeah,
I'm
for
just in and out like
Yeah.
fucking Autobahn shit,
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking cops
Mhm.
fucking ever nailed me, man. Shit.
Yeah. No, me and
Thank God.
and Paul both, like the speed of the 401 and stuff for sure.
Yeah.
So, but those little voices, the reason why I'm saying that is because there's so many times in my life where, something told me something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something's wrong. And you don't know what. You're not quite sure, right? So I got a good one if you want to hear it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Oh,
so-
yeah, well, that's what we're doing. We're
Okay,
just telling
so
stories.
so when I was in the hospital for my I was in the hospital for Crohn's. I got got sick at the Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
That's what it was. We got sick at the Dairy Queen, and what's it, hepatitis B, where you can cure it, like antibiotics cures it or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyways, one of them, the one that can be cured, I think it's hepatitis B.
The one you contract through food.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Hepatitis B.
you can,
Yeah. So we got it from the pop fountain at the Dairy Queen by your place at Twilliger. We were watching your house for you, me and Tracy.
Yeah.
And I got a brand new Dairy Queen. It was a brand new Dairy Queen, but they didn't clean the fountain pop machine correctly when they started it.
Yeah.
And so me and Tracy got food from Dairy Queen. We got a pop. And by the next day, I was puking my guts out because I have Crohn's, so I'm already behind the eight ball
Yeah.
when it comes to stuff like that. And I thought, oh my God, I can't remember the last time I've been this sick,
Yeah.
right? Oh my God, I'm puking like constantly. And after 24 hours, I was completely dehydrated, couldn't stop puking. Now I'm puking blood. And Tracy's like, I gotta take you to the hospital, right? She was sick too, but not as sick as I was. And then once they realized that it was Hep B, they gave her the medication, then she was fine right away. But she's a healthier, at that time anyways, was
Yeah,
healthier.
you get that from a fucking ice cube. That's
Yeah,
why
exactly.
it's important when you get to,
Yeah.
when you go, you always should get your vax, your twin Rex.
Yeah.
Before you go down to places like different countries. And
Right, right.
Because you can get it, you can contract it on on walking on the sand for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, I know. So it was so weird because at that time in my life, it didn't even occur to me that I could get it Canada. I know you can get it Mexico or whatever, me, but it didn't even occur to me that I could get it from a fountain pop machine.
Oh yeah.
In a restaurant, right? So, anyways,
that's why it's very thorough, be very
so
clean.
Tracy takes me to the hospital, and it turns out I'm really sick. I'm having a Crohn's attack, and I've got this hepatitis B, and they're like, holy shit. So they got all kinds of tubes going in me and whatever. So for the first 3 days, I was just really sick, right? And wasn't thinking much of anything. So by the 5th day, I was having a lot of pain in my liver. My liver was really spiked from the hepatitis B. So they had me on some pretty good drugs, stuff like that. So the 5th day, and it's funny, it's the time of year on AMC where they play The Godfather 2, and The Godfather 3.
Yeah.
They used to do that every year.
Yeah.
Around
Thanksgiving.
or something.
Yeah.
Around that.
Yeah.
Around that September, October.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's leading into Thanksgiving anyways.
Yeah, so I'm watching The Godfather, and I can't get the feeling that the universe is out of balance. Like, I just feel like something's off. It's just not right.
Yeah.
Something's not right. It's just not feeling right. Something's wrong. So I let that go for a little while. I think maybe the meds are making me paranoid or whatever, but I couldn't shake the feeling.
Yeah.
I just couldn't shake it. The universe was literally out of balance. Like, literally out of balance. Like, it just was not jiving. It just wasn't, and it was like my whole being was out of balance.
Yeah.
And I couldn't relax. I couldn't. So the nurse came and said, are you okay? And I said, no. So I explained this to her, that something's wrong. Something very bad is going to happen. The universe is it's out of balance. It's just something's not right. She goes, well, how do you know? And I said, I can't explain it. I'm just telling you something's really wrong. Just be careful. Just be careful. Tell the other nurses to be careful.
Yeah. Because
something's going to happen here that's just not meant to happen. That's almost what it was like.
Yeah.
Like, it should never happen. It should never have happened. That's how it felt. Like, something very bad is going to happen, and somebody should have been paying attention, and this never should have happened.
Yeah.
Right? So, she comes back in an hour, and she's like, Carl, are you feeling any better? And I'm like, no, it's getting worse. Like, so as time is progressing, the feeling is just worse and worse and worse. I'm stressed. I know this feeling. And I said to her, so back then, I was at the Royal Alexandra Hospital. If I wanted to go out for a smoke, I had to go out through the hospital at night.
Yeah.
I had to go out through the hospital and out through the emergency room to go for a smoke. And then I could come back in through the same regime. So I said, you know what, I'm going to take my IV and I'm going for a smoke. So I put my jacket on, grab my smokes, and I go for a smoke. And the hospital's quiet. And I mean, like, nobody. Yeah. Like, no nurses sitting around having their break or their lunch. No janitors sitting around having their break or their lunch, which is usual at night.
Yeah.
You'll see them kind of,
100%.
All over the place. One person here or two people over there. And they'll sit in the chairs where normally patients, guests sit during the day and whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, wow, man, it's like really eerily quiet in the hospital tonight. But okay, whatever. So I go out and have my smoke, and I come back in, and now it's about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I am wide awake. Like, I cannot sleep. I feel like crap, but it doesn't matter. Like, my brain and my soul is saying, do not go to sleep. Do not, like, something is wrong. Like, really, really wrong. Be alert. Be aware. Something's wrong. So, all of a sudden, I hear the nurses from my nursing station, which was just kind of off from my door, start running down the hall out of our unit. Right? And I'm like, okay. And then about 5 minutes later, I heard a code black, which means the hospital is now shut down. Okay? Can't come in or out, it's shut down.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm like, what the hell is going on? So, must have been an hour later, and the nurse come in, and I said, what the hell is going on, man? Like, what is going on? And she goes, I shouldn't tell you, but she said, I'm going to tell you because of how you've been feeling all night. She said, I'm not going to, I don't want you to stress anymore. It's over. And I said, what's over? She goes, in the room right above you is the psych ward, right? And there was 2 guys sharing a room, and the one guy had a day pass. He went out for the day, and he came back with a knife and stabbed his roommate to death.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what happened. And I looked at her, and she goes, how did you know? And I said, well, I obviously didn't know. If I'd known, I would have said, buddy's got a knife. Go get him. Like, don't let him know.
Yeah.
She goes, but you knew something was going to happen. I said, I don't know how I know. I don't know how I knew. I just know that I knew that something was out of balance and something wasn't right. And so the next day, about 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning, they're like, Carla, how you feeling? And I'm like, oh, I feel like a bag of balls now because, I mean, I haven't slept all night and stressed out and whatever, right? Not feeling great. And they look at me and say, well, we think you're good enough to go home right now. So they literally shot me up with enough morphine to make me like I was like out of my mind, high with morphine.
Yeah.
And they called Tracy and said, come pick her up. They put me in a wheelchair, put my stuff on my lap, and wheeled me out the front door. Okay?
Yeah.
And left me sitting there because now the media was all gathering around the hospital and they didn't want me to talk to anybody about what had just happened in the hospital. They were saying it happened later than it did. And I mean much later. They were saying it happened at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and that was a lie. It happened more like 2:30 in the morning.
Wow.
Right? And so already they're starting to lie about what has happened. And I'm not going to say allegedly because I was frickin' there, and I know you come after me. Let's just prove that. You get her done. You want to come after me, Royal Alec, you go right ahead. Because I was there, and I remember going for a smoke after it was all said and done. Going for a smoke, and it was like I was in a horror film because there was not a soul in the corridors, in the meeting areas. It was seriously, it was like being in Zombieland or something, right? You were like, what is going? Like so creepy, man. It was the creepiest feeling ever. And
that's how horror movies all begin.
Honest to God, man, it was creepy. So that, like I said, you got to listen to that little inner voice because when your inner being is telling you something's not right, man, something's not right. Like go with that.
Yeah.
Go with that instinct because you just never know. You don't know what it is. You don't know what it's going to be. I mean, maybe some people do, but for me, it usually just means when like I said, I've only got that feeling twice in my life. When I shattered my ankle, and that night at the hospital, because I phoned Tracy like 3 times, and she's like, "Well, just try and relax," you know. And I'm like, "I can't. Something's bad's gonna happen."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Relax." I'm like, "I can't. Something bad's gonna happen."
Yeah. No, for sure.
So, and like I said, it was out of balance. And then, I mean, once you found out what happened, you know, the security and that was because the psych ward is a locked
Yeah.
ward.
Just so you know,
So he was supposed to be searched before he went in.
I keep hearing a bang out there.
Yeah, no, I know, me too.
And I'm like, what the fuck is that, right? And I just listen to see if it happens again. So, if you hear me, I might go step outside here in a minute and check it out and see what the fuck's out there.
But anyway, so that's, you know, those are my kind of inclinations anyways. So, and it was freaky, man. It was scary. Like, I was scared. That particular time, I can say I was scared because I knew something bad.
Yeah.
Like I said, I knew, the worst part was I knew something bad was going to happen, and I knew it didn't have to.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I knew the way the universe was talking to me and the way that it was twisted, that this guy was supposed to be searched before they put him back in the lockup, and they didn't do it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, doesn't matter, they just didn't do it. So this poor guy that ended up getting stabbed to death, that never had to happen because it should never have happened.
Yeah.
Right? And
sure.
I knew it was something that was going to happen that should never have happened. Right? So it was a bizarre thing. Anyway, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It's wild, man. And like I said, it's scary. It's scary when it happens. It's just like, because like I said, you don't know. You don't know what it is. You just know that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Oh,
and you can't conceive in your mind what it possibly could be. Like,
Yeah.
if somebody had told me I should have been thinking a floor above me this was going to happen, that wasn't even in my thought process.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I had a hard enough time on that floor as it was, because you get a lot of people with drug issues.
Yeah.
On this, so I was on the 5th floor, which is where they deal with Crohn's and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's a section on the floor at the very back of that floor where the showers are. The showers are in the middle, and then on each side of the showers and on the ends are these locked rooms for drug addicts and stuff like that are having similar stomach problems because of their drug addiction, right?
Yeah. And
they're like horse doors. So they're not full to the ceiling doors. They're kind of like 5.5, 6 feet.
Yeah.
So you got like wood up to the 4-foot mark, and then 2 feet of kind of a rail, and then a bit of a clearance to the top of the ceiling, kind of thing, right? And, you know, I was more worried about those people down there than I was anybody upstairs. And, I mean, so I said the first 3 days I was so sick, man, like so sick. So now I've been, like, obscenely sick for 4 days. And I smelt like an old bag of balls, you know, like a dirty old bag of balls.
Yeah.
And I phoned Tracy and I said, "Can you come over? I want to take a shower." And she's like, "What do you need me to take?" I said, "Just come over, you'll see." Right? So I go down to take a shower, and there's this guy, he's like, "Hey," hanging on to the bar saying, "Hey!" And I'm like, "What? Let me out." And I'm like, "No, can't let you out. Sorry, you're right." "Hey!" Right? I'm like, "No, I can't let you out." Right? So I go back to my room. I'm like, "Okay, I can't have a shower like this, man. Like, it'll creep me right out." So then Tracy comes, and she's like, "Well, why?" And I said, "Just walk with me. You're going to see why I want you to monitor where," because there's no door to the shower. It's just curtains and stuff. So it's not like I can even close and lock a door, like, you know. So as she gets down there, and he's like, "Hey, hey, let me out." She's like, "No, I'm not letting you out." Right? "Hey, hey, let me out." Right? He just keeps doing this, right? And Tracy's like, "Oh my God."
Fucking out the
Right?
light.
Yeah, totally. Right out the lunch. "Hey, hey." And he's holding on to the bars. "Hey, let me out." Right? We're like, "No, can't let you out." And then Tracy's like, "Oh my God, no, can't let you out, can't let you out." So she kind of hides kind of around the corner so he can't see her. Because as long as he doesn't see anybody, he doesn't say anything. But the minute she'd pop her head out, he'd be like, "Hey, hey, let me out. So I come out from the shower and he starts it again, like, hey, let me out. And I'm like, no, man, can't let you out. So me and Tracy start walking back to my room, and I look back, and Buddy stands up. He's like 6'6". He's standing over the rail, like over the frickin' bars. I mean, he could have walked right over the door if he wanted to, right? But he got all caught up in the bars like he's locked in, right? It was so funny. Poor Tracy's like, okay, you got to get out of here. We're like, yeah, no doubt. You got to get out of here. Hey, let me out. So, yeah, I was more worried about those people than I was anybody upstairs or on any other floor getting out. So yeah, you know, it's crazy. So, anyways.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think those are probably our stories for tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that
and
was a good one.
I hope you guys enjoyed it, because, I mean, they're true stories. They're one of them are very true. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm Carla.
And I'm Preston.
Yeah, we'll see you on another one.
Take care.
Okay, take it easy.